Hey guys and gals, and my fellow Vedsies, and welcome back to another day of Veds. Continuing on with answering and responding to the various that have been placed upon me by the fellow Vedsies, today I am going to be doing the that was issued to me from Spartan Knight 67, in which he wanted me to discuss the weirdest Disney trivia fact that I know. And quite frankly, I had to really think about it because I know a lot of trivia about the production hell that some movies go through, but they're not weird. They're not really anything even that unheard of in Hollywood. However, then I remembered about the premiere of a specific Disney movie, and that just made it onto the list. I am, of course, talking about the premiere of Disney's Pinocchio. Now, some slight background history just on the movie itself and how I feel about it. The first time I saw Pinocchio, it was actually for an old show I used to do on this channel called Every Disney Animated Movie Reviewed. And after watching it, it quickly turned into one of my favorites. As such, I wanted to try to include some history in the episodes. And while they were off the cuff and unscripted, very much like this video is, so this fact never really made it into the episode itself, so I'm glad I can actually talk about it now. Now, back then, and even today, really, when Disney movies premiere, it is not very unheard of for the characters, costumed versions of Disney characters, or just characters from that movie, to be present at the premiere. You see, Walt Disney did this for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, his first premiere. You had Mickey, Donald, and Minnie and the Seven Dwarfs there, along with like a scale replica of the cottage from the film. Even when live action movies with animation premiered, like Mary Poppins, you had a whole host of Disney characters there to celebrate that momentous achievement. But for the premiere of Pinocchio, Walt hired 11 little people to portray Pinocchio. Or Pinocchios, I guess. These little men were all dressed up like Pinocchio, and they had face masks that were of the character of Pinocchio, and they were all sit atop Radio City Music Hall in New York City with a full day's rations, food, and wine, which I'm sure that was a great idea in hindsight. And the idea was essentially that these little men dressed as Pinocchio would wave to children and to their parents and to pretty much any passersby who were coming into Radio City to see the film, to watch Pinocchio. However, this quickly went south, as by the end of the day, these people were drunk, and they were just at the top of Radio City shouting obscenities at the crowd below. And because it was in the middle of a hot afternoon in New York City, the face masks also came off. So it wasn't even Pinocchio shouting obscenities, it was just angry men at the top of Radio City shouting curse words and obscenities at innocent bystanders. But perhaps the penultimate piece of this is police had to get involved. And how do you get little Pinocchios off of the top of Radio City Music Hall? You climb up a ladder and take them down, I am not kidding, in pillowcases. I honestly cannot imagine something like this happening today, because likely if it did, lawyers would have gotten involved, and it would have just became much bigger than it really had any right to be. And I'm sure I'm missing certain pieces of trivia even about this, but that's just how I remember hearing about the situation and reading about it. And again, this is just so weird early Disney that I couldn't think of any other logical step in talking about the weird Disney trivia that I know. But that's about it from me for today, guys. Once again, thank you Spartan Knight 67 for this challenge. And until tomorrow, guys, gals, and my fellow Vedsies, always let your conscience be your guide.